I came to work on Brookfield on work experience, and David had absolutely no time for it all. He was extremely sexist, didn't see how a young female student could have anything to offer on the farm at all.
And then something happened.
Well, to be honest, I think it was a huge surprise to me. I don't know whether it was to you, but I remember getting a script saying, and there was the direction in it saying, David kisses Ruth. And I nearly fell through the floor. What? Anyway, I had to ring the Archer's office about something completely unrelated that day. And Liz Rigby, the then editor of the programme, answered the phone. And the first thing she said to me was, congratulations. And I said, what? She said, congratulations. And I said, well, what? She said, you're getting married.
Well, I couldn't believe it either. I mean, there was very short build-up to this massive romance and getting married. But, as we are, as professional actors, once we realised that this was going to be the rest of our lives...
We found a very good reason for falling in love. But I remember our first kiss. I remember our first kiss where... do you remember? Because it was my first radio kiss. I don't know if it was yours.
Was it the back of my hand or was it the back of your hand?
We both did the back of our hands. Me having been told this is
the way you do...
And
just do an aside for the listener here. This is a standard procedure in the history of radio acting that when radio actors kiss, they kiss the back of their hands. That used to be the case, and it's now kind of gone out of fashion. Everyone's snogging away like mad these days, aren't they?
Can I say, apparently it's got a lot to do with it actually sounding right, because if you do a proper kiss, it doesn't have a lot of sound to it.
Should we give a demonstration?
Okay.
Okay, here you go. This is the back of the hand kiss. Right, go. Right, and this is a real kiss. So, listener...
Well, that's not a snog, is
listener, you make up your own mind, right?
And so how did you as actors find yourself in The Archers?
It was that slightly funny story with me because I had actually never listened to The Archers in my life. We were a non-Archers listening family. And I'd been on the radio repertory company, so I'd done a lot of radio, and then I got a call to come and audition for this thing called The Archers, and I came up and they said, this is a scene with Eddie Grundy, and I went, okay, so I didn't know quite what he meant because I'd never heard it. And they said, but Trevor Harrison, who plays Eddie Grundy, can't be here today, so can you play both parts? So I said, all right. So I said, well, what sort of voice has he got? He said, all sort of a real good old country sort of voice, He said, put a lot of R's into it. And I thought that he said, put a lot of arse into it. So I kind of, was sort of a bit arsey. So he was quite country and sort of being a bit arsey about the whole thing. Amazingly sounded rather like Eddie Grundy actually sounded. So I think probably because of this extraordinary kind of, sort of through the air ability to be able to channel Eddie Grundy without even ever having heard the word of the programme got me the part. And that's my theory anyway. I
didn't actually know the programme. I mean, I knew the music, but I didn't actually know... hadn't listened to the programme, but, found out as much as I could before I came. And I remember, suddenly on my answer phone in the house, there'd be people ringing up going, doot, 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 doot. Obviously it was a big deal to others, and I realised very quickly the weight, if you like, of history. And my mum remembers ironing to Grace Archer dying in the fire. The family has been listening for a long time.
I must ask you about Dead Ringers. Did the Dead Ringers version of Ruth come first? Were they copying something real, or was that something they made up?
Did they come first? You are joking. No, it was something they picked up on. And interestingly, one of my brothers, who's very into computers, years ago, before Dead Ringers, he got me to record "Oh no, David," so that every time there was a mistake on his computer, it would go, "Oh no, David," and that was before Dead Ringers. So, Dead Ringers picked up on it from me. The funny thing now is that whenever I get scripts that have got "oh no" in them, there'll be one producer that'll say, "cut it," and there'll be another producer saying, "No, keep it." So now I tend to kind of go, "oh no," or "oh no," rather than doing the...
She's completely caught now. She goes all red in the face when she sees "oh no" written in front of her. She doesn't know how to say it. And she goes, "no, oh no, no, oh no, oh."
He's exaggerating, God.
What do you think is the appeal of The Archers? Why are we still here 60 years later?
It's addictive, I think. I mean, I remember realising this a long time ago, that there is a sort of a similarity to hard drugs in that all you have to do is to listen to one episode. And because of this, this nature of the fact that you've always got a cliffhanger at the end of each episode, to a greater or lesser extent, people go, "Ooh, I'm just slightly interested to know what happens about that," and so I might just listen to that tomorrow. And once you've listened to it tomorrow, and then you do that again and again, that's that sort of the slow drip of addiction. It becomes part of them. It becomes part of their lives. They have a personal identity. They have a personal feeling of ownership of all the people who are in the program, and they have a feeling of a relationship with all the people in the program. And that's the nature of soaps. But there's something slightly more kind of powerful about the radio because it's all happening in your mind, and so therefore all these characters are your individual characters, and that's the nature of, if you've got 5 million listeners, then there's 5 million Davids, there's 5 million Ruths, and so therefore this kind of adoption of the people is a more personal adoption than it is, I think, on telly. And I think that's one of the reasons why the people become so passionate about it and so protective and so in love with it, really, and in love with and care, really, really care about what happens in it, and that's a responsibility for us.